Hello. I'm honored to speak to you from the traditional and unceded territory of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation, now known as Ottawa. As Canada's first federal housing advocate, my job is to listen to people across the country and advocate for change on housing and homelessness issues. And today, I release my final report and recommendations on homeless encampments in Canada. I call on governments to take action on this urgent issue. Every day is a matter of life and death for people living in encampments. This national crisis calls for a national response, and I'm recommending that the federal government establish a national encampments response plan and that this plan be in place by August 31st, 2024. This response plan must direct governments to act immediately to save lives and end forced evictions of encampments. The response must work with all governments and provide support to municipalities, and it must make steps to respect the inherent rights of Indigenous peoples and respect and uphold human rights. The plan must prioritize offering people permanent housing as rapidly as possible, and it must work to address the root causes of encampments. Canada can solve this crisis, and this report is an urgent call to action to governments at all levels. Uphold the human rights of encampment residents and their right to housing.
When I ran across Canada, I talked to people who are living in encampments, and their stories are all different. It could be a question of affordability for some people, or that they've encountered too many barriers. Some people are struggling with addictions, some people are struggling with mental health, and this is where they've found a place to belong. People are living in very precarious situations. They are at risk of fire, they are at risk of cold, of overheating, of physical violence by the police, by the public.
Encampments are the extreme end of a housing crisis that is so out of control. It's the most visible thing. It is the most visceral example of people's housing rights being violated.
The way people are treated in encampments, especially with the forced evictions of encampments, has caused people a whole lot more harm. The treatment of people in encampments is such a violation of their human rights in terms of failing to provide water, sanitation, heating and cooling, and everything that they need in order to live a life in safety, security, and dignity.
Encampments are not a part of the solution to the housing crisis. They're a reaction, an extreme reaction to the housing crisis, which is really heartbreaking that in a country like Canada, extremely wealthy, we can't actually ensure that everyone has a safe, affordable place to be at home. Housing isn't something nice to have. It's a necessity. It's a human right. We can't thrive without the foundation of housing.
Government are responsible for the human right to adequate housing, and all levels of government are responsible to find solutions, to work together and provide support to municipalities on the issue of encampments.